Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ian Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports.
Hello, world. Welcome to R&R on Sports. My name would be Howard Robertson.
And I am the outstanding,
Here we go.
the unbelievable, the downright stunning, marvelous, and absolutely fascinating Larry Robinson is in the house. What's up, America? Well, you got a problem with me, man. That's my introduction.
Hey, man,
don't
did
be
I
hating.
say I had a
now you over there
problem?
laughing. I don't like
I'm
that laugh,
laughing.
man. I don't
Yes,
like
I
that.
am.
I don't like the way you was laughing.
Ain't nothing you can do
You know
about
how
it.
like
So
Dave
what-
Chappelle. You know how Dave Chappelle
So what
said
you
his
gonna
new
do
time.
about it, man?
I mess around and lead this show, man. Y'all. You know, I'm gonna rescind that big contract we got
Jeremy,
like David Chappelle.
Jeremy, if that's the worst that can happen, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. Ain't that what it sounds like?
What you got going, man? It's the weekend, baby. It's the weekend.
It is. And I saw this feature on Real Sports.
Okay.
And it was very, very interesting. And I thought about it hit home with me because I thought about my granddaughter. My soon-to-be 11-year-old granddaughter is an avid and tremendously good soccer player.
All right.
But she plays soccer all year long. And I have a problem with that because she doesn't. This is to the exclusion of any other sport. So
What, do you have a problem with it because she can't hang out with you as much as you like? Is that what it is?
that's one of the problems. But no, I have a problem with her being stuck on soccer all year. She plays on a club team. She plays in school. Her school won the state, and she was the MVP.
Yeah.
As you know.
Right. Yeah. Because 2 seconds can't pass without him talking about it.
And that's the only thing I put on social media. I put stuff about my grandbaby. But anyway, they were talking about all of these kids. They called it professional amateur sports.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a money grab, man.
Yeah,
because, it is. My daughter and son-in-law pay crazy money to these teams for her to play.
Well, listen, let me tell you what happened to me this last week. Last weekend, this team that my son plays for, my baby boy, was double booked in 2 tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, this kid played 4 games on Saturday. I had to pay $10 for each game. So I'm like $40 in to see ninth grade basketball.
Right.
And I'm saying, this is ridiculous.
When did they start charging you to
come see my kid play? When
did that happen? Aren't you just sitting in the gym anyway? They make
$10 a game.
What do they do? Make you get up and come out and come back through?
No, I mean,
what?
shoot, I'm not.
They
gonna
come around and get you money?
No, because you play 1 in the morning. Then we had to go to another gym and play 1 in that gym. So this is 2 different.
And the fact that you're a parent does not qualify for you to come in and watch for free.
No, so there was 2 games on Saturday. No, it was 4 games on Saturday because then we had to come back and play another time. And then because you left, because I'm not gonna stay and wait till
Sure.
Come back, you gotta pay again. So you come back and pay again.
Crazy.
And I'm like, man, this is truly a money grab. I mean, it's a true money grab, and they're using our affection and our love for our kids in sports.
And their love for the sport, for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's terrible, man. It is terrible. And especially if you have a family, I think it's really atrocious that you're being asked to pay all this money to watch one of their siblings play in less than collegiate sport.
We're going to talk about that more with our guest, sports agent Travis King, but we're going to come back for the next segment, and we're going to talk about some other things, an extension or extensions of what we just got through talking about.
Absolutely.
Here on R&R on Sports, where you only gonna get the best conversation, get the best guests, get the best hosts, and all that stuff.
Doing that pretty well, man.
Hey,
You sound like you might have a job at this.
That's what I do. Back for more R&R after this.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
And you're listening to a little R&R on sports.
Back for more R&R on Sports, where we're about to talk about a plethora of things.
What a $10 word.
It is. An amalgam of, that's a bigger one, of different things. So I got a question for me.
A cornucopia.
I have a question for you, and I'm going to draw from my daddy,
Okay.
Howard L. Robertson Sr.,
Okay.
when he used to sit down and look at me and say, "What's wrong with that boy?"
Okay. So who you
And
talking
be
about?
talking about my younger brother.
Oh.
All right. I say, I don't know.
Shout out to
what
Ray.
you
Shout out to
asking?
Ray.
Hey, Ray. Happy birthday. Ray got a birthday coming up next year.
Okay.
Milestone next week. But anyway, check this out. So did you see the what do they call it? The Egg Bowl between Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, and Mississippi State?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so here's what happened. Last part of the game, they were down. Mississippi, Ole Miss was down.
Yep.
So their player scores, and they are 1 point away from tying the game at the end of the game, and they're playing for the coveted Egg Bowl
Right.
trophy, intrastate championship. So the player scores, and he dives in, and he is on all fours, and he takes about 3 steps on all fours, and then he raises his right leg like he's taking a leak like a dog. I came to find out that he is a member of a fraternity that will remain nameless on this show. I did verify that because that looked like one of their moves.
Yeah.
And so he raised his leg like he was a dog taking a leak. And, of course, referees went crazy, blew it. Excessive celebration was the call. Moved them back to kick the extra point.
Right.
And the kicker pulled it and missed it.
And cost the game.
So they lost the game. Now, granted, the kicker, it should have been a chip shot.
Right.
And he has responsibility in this too. But here's what I'm asking you.
Okay.
Between that kind of action and Myles Garrett, for example, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, slamming somebody upside the head with a helmet, as Howard Sr. would say, what's wrong with these boys?
Well, first and foremost, we're talking about college students, and that's a really heated rivalry. And I'm sure there was plenty of trash talk back and forth. Now, we do know that Mississippi State are Bulldogs, right?
Yes.
So that was really a kind of a connection with the whole, like saying this is my territory. Your end zone is my territory, because that's what happens when a dog urinates on a certain area. He's making the reference between. Now, he could have. I think that's one of those situations where you look the other way as a referee. I don't think he was disparaging of anything other than he wasn't directly dogging out any other players.
You
he wasn't
expected the ref to look the other way,
not necessarily. I think you could have assessed. I think you could have
Daddy,
assessed that penalty.
please.
I think you could have assessed that penalty on the kickoff. I don't think you
No, they
affect that
assessed it
game.
on the extra point.
Yeah, and then the kid just blew
And
it.
obviously took it out of my man's range.
A college kicker literally couldn't hit about a 25-foot, a 25-yard field goal or extra point. But then, as it relates to Myles Garrett, I got serious issues with that. Do you realize that the only people that were suspended were people of color?
No, I didn't know that.
The only people that were suspended by the NBA were black men.
NFL.
So, the NFL, I'm sorry. Then, if you go back to the video, and just like Freddie Kitchens put on the shirt that Pittsburgh started it, This kid kicked this guy, Garrett, in the private areas multiple times
during
the fiasco. And he initially tried to snatch Myles Garrett's helmet off. However, he wasn't successful. So after the kicks and all that, which Pittsburgh started it, now is that abstaining him from the responsibility and the criminal act
Absolutely
of actually
not.
slamming his kid against his head, slamming a helmet against his kid's head, which was extremely dangerous. And I was glad he didn't get any criminal charges because that could have turned out a lot worse.
And here's what I want to say.
But you got those certain people. Now we know football. In order to be a professional defensive football player, you got to have some screws loose, especially on that line. So those are not people that I would want to mess. And then in that moment,
is not something that you can plead in this.
In that moment,
temporary insanity is not acceptable.
I think what I have a problem with is the fact that the quarterback did not get any type of suspension.
Well,
and he literally was a part of this fully. Now, was Myles Garrett in the wrong by hitting this kid across the head with a helmet? I totally agree. But we cannot ignore
but let me ask you,
what was the accelerant to that issue.
I get that, and I do agree that that he should have been assessed some kind of penalty for being. I mean, he was complicit in it.
But I think he was very complicit. I think he was very complicit in this whole.
So here's how can they in a later time, after they've had some time to think about it, how can they be so polite and contrite, yet just kind of lose your mind in the moment?
Because I think that's the heat of battle, and I think those guys have a crazy switch, and I think you have to do that on to play professional football, first of all, and to play defense. You have to have a different kind of mental makeup. I mean, don't forget you are slamming your head.
Myles Garrett is highly intelligent.
Yes.
Highly.
But I think you lose it.
Exceptionally.
And you've never had a partner that, could be the most congenial guy in the world.
No. And you know what?
I'm serious. And I think on our own sports, we got a same situation. Because if you ever get crazy with me, I got another screw. I'll lose it, and I will hit you in the head with one of these mics, and you will have a concussion and a half, and go home and everybody.
I am so worried about that. Woo, I'm scared.
But wait a minute, we got one more topic to talk about, and that's my man Carmelo Anthony. I got a hypothesis on this situation. First of all, if you think about the Houston situation with Carmelo Anthony, now let me set it up. And the reason why we're talking about it is the fact that he just won Player of the Week, NBA Player of the Week, Western Conference. And we want to say, why is it that why was this guy it was a chance that he might not never play again, have an opportunity to win the championship or win the Player of the Week? Well, my thing is this. Carmelo did something in Houston that really put him in a bad spot with the league and specifically with the Houston Rockets on some level. Because they got him out of there quick, fast, in a hurry, and nobody touched this kid. No one touched this guy. That says to me, it wasn't about Carmelo being able to play. Because you see him in the summers and all that. It wasn't about him being able to play.
He got blackballed.
It was something that the owners and the fraternity of the NBA said, literally, you're going to sit down.
You think it'll come out, whatever it was?
It's got to. It's got to come out. It's got to come out. It's got to come out. Because you couldn't, LeBron couldn't save him. None of his boys could save him.
What makes you think it's got to come out?
Chris Paul is one of his best friends on the team and could not intervene.
He is playing and succeeding now. What makes you think it will come out? It has to come out. I don't understand that.
Well, I'm thinking, you're going to always have autobiographies and biographies and all those kind of things, and those exposés that happen. And I think when one of these telltale books will come around, and it'll say
we'll all learn
that Carmelo did something that was extremely atrocious to that industry, and they made him sit down for it.
All right. Fantastic show today. We're going to talk about excess today. Too much.
Man, you play too much.
And it's a question mark.
Now, you don't play too much because that gut says that you ain't playing that much. So all I'm saying is, when we talk about playing too much.
Think I got a gut.
Oh, man, he's like anymore. 7 months pregnant.
I'm down.
Have you ever seen a man? Pregnant? Listen, just go to the Facebook page of Howard Robertson on R&R on Sports.
And look at that fat man. Right. Look for the fat man when you go to R&R and see who that is. Back for more R&R on Sports after this.
Riffin' on Jazz.
When two friends get together to kick it
about jazz, it's called Riffin' on Jazz.
Catch us riffing on jazz every week right here on your favorite broadcast or podcast platforms.
Riffin' on Jazz on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. You're not gonna do a little high pitch?
Nah, man, I'm gonna be.
You brand new.
I'm late.
You are brand.
Hey, man, I just got back from the big city, man.
So you what?
And so
So what's that
got
mean,
a little
man?
got a little flair, and I'm just feeling real big city about right now.
Ever so little. We are always thrilled to be able to bring you guys fabulous guests, and we have a return guest who promised us about a month or so ago that he'd be back, and true to his word, he is back. We're talking about sports agent Travis King. Welcome back to R&R on Sports, my brother.
What's going on, brothers?
King, what's happening, man?
All good.
I see you decked out in the Memphis gear.
Yes, sir. Go Tigers, go.
All right.
They got the what's the coach's name?
Quarter.
Quarter.
Yeah, 50 Cent.
Nah, man.
Quarter Harris.
Penny Hardaway.
Nah, brother, you got Penny Hardaway, man. Penny doing some great stuff over there, man. Shout out to Penny and the folks over at the University of Memphis.
That's right.
And we got Mike Norville for another couple weeks, hopefully.
Oh, man.
I hate to see it.
Yeah, brother. He's hot on a lot of lists.
You think he's not long for the world in Memphis?
Nah, I think he's going to Florida State. He's going to Florida State.
It's big time, big ball, man. He done took another step up.
Okay, so we
lost appreciate Fuentes. Our time with him, though.
We lost Fuentes a few years ago because he was doing so well. Where'd he go? Virginia Tech?
We're going to keep losing coaches because we're in our ceiling is the Cotton Bowl, Right now, they built the program, and we'll take that ceiling hopefully December 28th. But as of right now, in the AAC, that's as far as we can go.
Talking about the University of Memphis football Tigers, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't recognize the tone of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
We are not known for football.
Not known for that. But
not known.
Now we are known.
So now what if I was one of your clients and I played for Kentucky and I see my agent running around in all this, blue, but definitely not Kentucky blue? How do you explain that to some of your clients?
I'm from Memphis. I am Memphis, so I work for the clients as far as that has nothing to do. I'm not a Kentucky fan. I'm a Calipari fan and Tony Barbie and coaching staff. I like fans and I like players more so than teams. I like my players. I like LeBron. That's not one of my players. I like players. I don't like teams anymore other than football. Okay. Because I don't represent football players. Go 49ers.
All right.
Having a great year, too.
Yeah.
So the theme of this show originally was intended to be too much basketball with a question mark. But
now
I am just going
wait a minute
to.
Now, you got to put some respect on our producer's name. He wrote a great article talking about NBA players play too much.
Okay.
Yeah. So
good.
So yeah, we got to reference in. So if you go to R&R's Facebook page and go to the notes, you will be able to pull down this phenomenal article written by our young producer. Man, you got to put some respect on that brother's name, man.
Jeremy.
Jeremy. It's Jeremy, not Jeremy. That's the northern pronunciation.
Jeremy with a J.
Jeremy.
Anyway, so I'm going to take some license and just say too much with the question mark there, because that's really the question, and this crosses all sports. Let's talk about, and we can talk about basketball, Travis, since that's the predominance of your background in terms of that. But so let's talk about the whole question of too much and get your insight and opinion on whether or not you think that there's too much between AAU and school ball and all of that for these young players, starting in, I guess, middle school. Are they playing too many games, man? Is this literally too much?
They're playing too many games, and it's before middle school. I think the AAU I used to work for the AAU, so the AAU gets a bad rap. AAU has been around for over 150 years. All summer basketball is not AAU. I just want to clarify that. It's summer basketball. AAU only has organized events that are state tournaments and national tournaments.
Okay.
But
folk attribute all the others to AAU.
The lovely thing about how big their brand was, everything in the summer became AAU basketball when it really wasn't. So they took a lot of heat and a lot of because I used to be in those meetings, a lot of hits because everybody attributed, AAU coaches are slime balls. AAU has too many games. AAU manages, they're the best organization as far as managing their players, managing their coaches, making sure the events are certified. The event operators have insurance for the kids. Like, they have structure. So I wanted to just clarify that because I don't want anybody to hear me down in AAU. I never would.
But wait a minute.
But summer basketball, there is too much going on for the kids.
Okay.
And I say that to say a kid will play AAU. Really, only AAU events they'll play are the state tournament and to qualify for the national tournament.
Now, while you're saying this, does AAU comprise the predominance of summer basketball?
No, not anymore. They used to.
Give me a percentage. What would be AAU?
I think when I ran AAU boys basketball in 97 through 99, I worked at Disney's Wide World of Sports. We had 100,000 kids across the country playing 10,000 coaches. From what I've heard recently, it's probably down to 30,000, and I attribute that to all of the negative press that they had and all of these new operators, the shoe companies coming into the game, all of these other people throwing weekend events. Curtis Givens, for instance, he's a club operator. Well, he's had an AAU team for 2 years. Now he's got the Down by the River Classic and does a great job, and he's got 250 teams that come, but it's not an AAU tournament. It's a local business guy, saw an opportunity, throwing an event to make money and get his teams to play. He doesn't have to travel that weekend.
Right.
Smart. And now kids have added 8 games that weekend on their schedule. They weren't AAU, but people will say, we're going to this AAU tournament.
Well, it's sort of like soda and Coke.
Coke,
you know?
right?
Yeah, it's like, it's like everything.
Their brand got that big. But as far as summer basketball, it is too much. I mean, so AAU starts at 3rd grade. We used to host the 3rd grade national championship, which is 8-year-old kids.
3rd grade national championship.
You travel. We used to do 75 teams from across the country. So and they, so 3rd grade, let's just say, and even now, that was 10 years ago. I mean, literally, I would say the average kid that plays summer basketball, along with whatever they play, park and rec, middle school, whatever their other, because even if they're not in middle school, so you wanted to start at middle school. No, they play Winter League at Whitehaven Community Center. They play Fall League at Thad Young's gym.
Right.
They play 2 or 3 league during the week.
Yep.
So these kids are averaging 100 games in basketball. So they play longer than the NBA season. Then if they play Little League football, if they play baseball, track, soccer, you're adding in probably not as many, but somewhere close. And a baseball or a soccer, it's going to be the same amount of games. Football is generally, 6, 7, 8 games, but practice all week.
Well, listen, this is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with NBA agent, basketball agent, Travis King. One of the challenges I think with all of this is saying that it's the easy thing to say is that the AAU or summer basketball or basketball, they're playing too much. But what real data do we have to say that kids are breaking down? Are these just normal injuries that?
Nah, look at the injuries. Like I remember, Howard
ACL.
Was probably a little older than us, so when he was coming up,
probably.
Dude, this dude in Methuselah
He
used
didn't
to
need
go
no
to high school
comment on
together.
that, Larry.
But
he didn't ask for any peanut gallery input.
but guys were playing when he came up with Chuck Taylor's on.
Absolutely, I played with Chuck Taylor.
They weren't.
Best day of my life. I got 2 pairs.
And I remember them
that
saying
information is important because of what?
Because he mentioned Chuck Taylor's, damn it, and I'm the only one sitting at this table that's got real experience with Chuck's.
But go ahead, make your point.
But my point is, they weren't having Achilles tears and Jones fractures and all of these new injuries that we see.
Weren't.
Then when we started playing,
at least it wasn't as popular,
right? And then when we started playing, you had Howard's generation saying, "Man, y'all boys soft, man. We used to do this," and we played outside. It was a pleasure and rarity for us to be able to go not only to our high school gym to just play, but to be able to go to these training facilities and get private workouts.
Man.
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
So with technology being where it is, where the shoe game being where it is, where all of the training being where it is, why are there more injuries? Because when we played, there was only 4 tournaments. There was Boo Williams tournament in Virginia, and we were the elite. I'm talking when we played with Penny, had a summer, we went 69-1, won a national championship. We played 70 games.
69-1.
We played 70 games, but
in the summer, y'all played 70 games.
Yeah, but those 70 games that we played were a lot of local games here.
Right.
The only time we traveled, we went to Boo Williams at the beginning of April. We went to a tournament in Kentucky in May. We went to a tournament in Arkansas, or a day game in Arkansas. And then we played to get into the Nationals.
Okay.
And we may play, because we were so good, in the 16 and under Nationals and the 17 and under Nationals. So that was it. It wasn't every weekend we're playing. We're going to New Orleans to play in the Junebug All-American Classic. We're playing in Little Rock this weekend, playing in Jackson this weekend.
That's the truth, man.
So we got to go to break, but when we come back, I'm going to tell you what it's like to play ball on a goal that's nailed to an oak tree. Back with more.
Before we do that, one more thing we're going to talk about. We are going to also talk about the fact that why all these first-round draft picks are sitting out their first season of the NBA.
All right, we got stuff to talk about. Back after this, more R&R. Don't go away.
My name is Michael Eric Dyson, and you're listening to R&R on Sports.
Hello, I'm Howard Robertson.
And I am the fantastic, the amazing, the phenomenal Larry Robinson.
With your show, R&R on Sports, every Saturday morning right here on the Sports Byline Network. With only the up-to-date commentary every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific on the Sports Byline Network.
R&R on Sports. Part of the KUDZUKIAN Network. The Event Doctor on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
The thing is that it's the Event DR, which is known as the Event Doctor, but I don't want to be too corny, like, okay, the doctor's in, or whatever.
The Event Doctor.
I don't want doctors to feel like, you're not a doctor. Why are you saying that? We're here to talk about different events, answer your questions, help you save your event, stuff like that.
The Event Doctor Podcast on the KUDZUKIAN Network. KUDZUKIAN!
Welcome back to R&R on Sports.
Back!
Here, there it is. There it is. I was waiting on it. Conspicuously absent from the conversation, and I hope it won't crop up again, ladies and gentlemen. Back with Travis King. Travis, we were talking about this whole idea of playing too much. So, in your professional opinion, not humble opinion, but professional opinion, what do you think is the answer relative to reducing the number of games that these young players of all sports are playing, and
what's too
protecting them a little more. Well,
what's too much?
Let them
how do you determine what's too much?
Talk about what you think is too much.
Well, I would rather kids be playing sports than playing video games. So let me say that. I think physical activity is good. I don't think as many games. I think it's watered down to the extent, like I said, I think Nike has done a great job at developing youth leagues as opposed to tournaments.
What you mean, like EYBL?
EYBL, for instance, and they have a youth EYBL in the Made Sports League. So beginning of the year, they already know there's 20 games. We're only playing 20 games in this Nike league. This is the elite of the elite. A kid can play those 20 games and not have to play one more game the rest of the summer, and every college coach will have seen them.
But wait a minute. This is a capitalistic society. These tournaments are being run by event entrepreneurs, promoters. That's why they call it.
I literally paid about $30 to watch my kid over a weekend playing ball.
You came away easy. I mean,
you had to pay to watch your child?
Absolutely.
You got to buy a ticket?
Man, $10 a game,
You're getting away easy. EYBL is $25 a ticket. Their ticket's higher than the Tiger ticket.
What?
Yeah.
To watch my kid?
No question.
You're going to pay to watch your kid.
I mean, but again, these buildings aren't cheap. I mean, I can know both sides of it. You know what I mean? Like, if I go and rent a building to throw a weekend event, I mean, but
that's for his benefit. I can watch my kid in the driveway for free.
Yeah, but you're not going to do that. You're going to go support.
And John Calipari ain't going to watch your kid in the driveway.
Exactly.
Bill Self ain't going to watch your kid in the driveway.
But to answer that question, I just gave you the complete total of it. You can go play the 20 games in the EYBL, or you can go play the 20 games in the Adidas Gauntlet, and that's enough. You know, that is enough, because the whole purpose of AAU was to be an extension of high school ball. And when colleges couldn't go to every high school in Memphis to recruit, it gave them one place to go and do it. So if I'm a recruitable athlete and I go to a point where there's 20 games I can play in front of college coaches, they're filming the game, so they have film on me. There's scouting services there. If I'm getting a scholarship, I'm getting one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to go to Junebug's tournament where there's 3 JUCO coaches just because my coach saying, I'm trying to get you in front of college coaches. No, you just, I mean, you know, and it's so many different angles. As an AAU coach, I want to put as many out-of-town trips on there because that's going to entice Howard to go with my program as opposed to Anthony's program, who's only going to Jackson, Mississippi, and Little Rock. That's as far as they're going. Mm-hmm. When we had the Nike team here, while we killed smaller programs, you know, it was business. Hey, we're taking our guys to Orlando. You look on there, you're going to Hampton, Virginia. You're going to Indianapolis, Indiana. You're going to Dallas, Texas, and you're going to L.A. So the guy that's taking his kids to Little Rock and St. Louis, they can't beat me. I got a better product to offer. So as an AAU coach, you want to play every weekend because guess what? The weekend you're not playing, that mama who is over thirsty is going to take her son to go play on Team Adidas this weekend because y'all aren't playing.
Wow.
Over thirsty. Wow. You listening to R&R on
Mama's
sports.
thirsty out here now. They want their baby to make it to the NBA tomorrow.
Oh, yes, because they want to get paid. So let's transition real quickly to this question. Larry had a thing you want to talk about, and I think the question to you is, are these examples of load management?
Yeah, load management, and basically breaking down load management is when the NBA team actually keeps a player, although they may be totally healthy, they keep a player out of playing just to take off the pressure of them playing too much and being ready for the playoffs. At least that's how I kind of look at it. So when you talk about load management from an agent's perspective, how do agents feel about the whole concept of managing the workload of an NBA player?
My client's the most important thing, and I instruct them, how does your body feel? Because ultimately 82 games at the level that they play, people, oh man, they make millions of dollars, this, that, and the third. it's not just 82 games. These guys are playing USA basketball now, and they have to train the entire month of July and August. So that takes 2 months of their vacation off. In order to be, and you know the stories on LeBron, I've never seen anybody work as hard as LeBron. I mean, even Amari, he works harder than anybody I've known. He only takes a month off in the summer. It's really 11 months of them training and rehab and recovery.
Now, is that necessary for them to compete at that level?
No question. I mean, because the difference is people are sitting back thinking, man, these guys play 4 games in 5 days. I'm playing Memphis, having to go up against Ja Morant one night, running up and down the floor for 42 minutes, jump on a plane at 11:30 after the game. I've got a back-to-back in Portland, so we're on a 5-hour flight. Granted, it's a custom plane, but it's still, I'm asleep. I get there at 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep because I've been sleeping on the plane, so I'm sitting up. My knees, I tweaked my knee last night, so I got to go to the training room as soon as I get there, put the compression tights on. We got 10 o'clock shoot around. Coach said, I'm hurting, Coach. Maybe I don't go to shoot around so I can make sure I play in the game. Knee still swollen. We got a big game tonight. Got to get that. We'll get the PRP shot. Take the shot.
Oh, wow.
Now they want you to take a shot, which some go good, some don't, just so you can play. And by the time you get
PRP
through the
is
season.
an acronym for what?
Well, I mean, it's one of those shots that they give,
Was it a protein replacement or something like that?
Yeah, and then,
then it's an acronym for something.
Then it's the pain pills. And, again, a lot of, there's no cannabis or marijuana allowed in the NBA, so they'd rather you be on prescription pills, which, are terrible, but they want you to peel you up. Man, you okay? Can you go tonight? And I just try to tell my guys, look, you know your body better than me. I can't tell you, man, you need to play.
Okay, but then you also, listen, this is R&R Sports, and we're speaking with sports agent Travis King. So how does a player like a LeBron James play at the load that he's played? I mean, this guy's played 82 games year before last, and if it wasn't for injury, he was on a tear close to play over 65 last year.
Right.
You're talking about he wanted to play 82 this game. You talk about a Vince Carter, who you don't know has ever been a person that's complained about playing a long time. So how do these players do it? And then you got a Kawhi Leonard that literally has been kept out of shoot. I don't think he played 50 games last year for Toronto.
Everybody's body's different. Let's just use Amari, for example. Amari had, he came into the league his rookie year. I think he played 82 games. Rookie of the year. Next year, might have played 79 games. Then he has a microfracture.
Yeah.
Microfracture, supposed to be over with, He sits out,
Not long
enough. Came back, trying to be, because contract coming up. Year 4.
Right.
I need to go max out. I'm going to fight through it. Couldn't do it. Tried to come back and play. Hurt himself more. Sat out the rest of that year, came back the next year, made first team All-NBA. But at that point, now every year he was training so hard. Once he had that first surgery, he'd go into his training mode. Training camp start 2-a-days. So, training camp's 6 days, then you're playing games. That quick, then he had to get a scope.
Wow.
Knee flare up. He had to have gotten 6-7 scopes throughout the time. It was just like we knew, okay, we're just going to flare up here in the next couple of weeks. As soon as it starts, flare up, got to sit 4 or 5 games, and he's back at it,
How important is sleep for these guys?
It's crucial. They actually have sleep coaches now. Most teams have sleep coaches, yeah.
That's what I need.
They talk to you about what you're eating. You meet with them. They give some of them melatonin.
Yeah.
Some of them need sleep noises. I sleep with a sleep noise at night. So they got all of those different things, and then they actually track them. Sometimes they give them trackers when they feel like you're not getting enough rest. They got some little device you can sleep with that says, your body wasn't in full rest mode at this time. The NBA's the most technological league there is, and they want the best out of their players. And I see both sides. My granddad, one thing he stuck with me, he said, I always play if you can, Travis. He said Joe DiMaggio said something one time, because I guess he used to always play injured and always broken ribs and this. And he said, they asked him, why did he do it? He said because there was a guy who worked all year to save up to bring his kids to see the Yankees. And if I sat that one game and his kid might not ever have gotten to see me play. So I get it from the fan standpoint.
Yeah.
And it's 82 games though.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, they played 82 games back in the day. Yeah, they did, but there weren't as many teams. There wasn't as much flight travel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There wasn't as much.
There weren't back-to-backs.
There weren't back-to-backs. There wasn't as much.
They played a game a week.
And there wasn't as much as demand, but they got to – why is that? Why are they doing all that? Because they have to fill up the TV time.
Right.
So we got $23 billion in TV time. So
we got a hard stop on that because we got a question to ask you. Last time you were here, there was the judgment, if you will, on
no, the NCAA changed. NCAA said we're going to allow players to make money off of their.
I called that before y'all called it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was
talking about. The Wiseman thing.
I'm
talking about the Wiseman decision had not been made, and he ended up being suspended for 12 games or whatever. So you don't have to talk about that in particular, but talk to us about. We know we've heard that you've got a few definitive feelings about the organization that we call the
NCAA?
National Collegiate
Athletic
Association. So say whatever you like about that, about their situation in terms of that.
Well, this has no reflection on independent sports and entertainment. This is not how they feel. This is Travis King and how I feel. I absolutely think that NC2A is a criminal, gangster,
mafioso,
like he needed some help.
Hate group. They hate people to earn money for themselves. I mean, if you watch that documentary I talked to you about, the fact that the NC2A changed their whole mantra from one case when that kid got hurt in West Texas and got paralyzed, and his family tried to file a workers' comp claim against him. And that's when they went, it's all documented, they went and they found the rule under the AAU premise of amateurism. We don't have to pay amateurs. We don't have to use them as employees. Because again, at the end of the day, I don't have any problem saying that. They can't do anything to me. They're not a governmental institution. They are a bunch of people that sit in a glass house and make decisions that hurt people of color every year. They chew them up. They spit them out. Nobody complains about it. And all we do is continually send our kids to these same schools that allow them to do that to our children, period. The group makes billions of dollars. They don't pay the athletes. There's no other way to call it but indentured servitude or slavery. And if they want to talk to me about it, I've been dealing with the NC2A for 25 years. They tried to take me down with Amari. They couldn't. And I'm tired of it. They picked the wrong city, the wrong program, the wrong people to deal with, because the people of Memphis are not going to allow them to come in and continually stomp on guys like us when you got other programs with people on wiretaps that are still coaching on the sidelines. You can't tell me the truth about that.
Sean Miller, Bill Self.
Hold on, I ain't gonna call those.
I'm calling names.
Some of these guys are my friends. I don't want them to sit out.
Right.
I don't want them to sit out. But why should James Wiseman sit out? Then I listen to Fran Fraschilla, who I like and I've had dinners with, and him say the other day, well, I think Penny Hardaway should sit out 12 games, and you got coaches that are on wiretaps, and he hadn't said that. It's just not fair, man. You cannot just attack people because they dress better. They got better players this year. Now we want, they got a little more swagger than the next guy, or they got this coat, they got this recruit, and now we just gonna go in
publicity
and make these people ineligible. Because guess what? James Wiseman's going number 1, number 2, whatever, no matter what, whether he played at NC2A school or not. If we understood that was our power, then what leverage do they have?
One quick question. Hold on, one quick question and just answer it quickly. Why did Memphis acquiesce after allowing him to play for so long, in your opinion?
Say again?
Why did Memphis acquiesce to the NCAA while making James Wiseman sit out at the last minute?
Because,
in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think because the NCAA was not going to address any of the issue until they took the lawsuit off of them. That's what it boiled down to. You know, they're holier than thou. We're not going to give you no decision. You know, the court doesn't govern them because, again, if they say, well, we'll just sit back and hold, and Penny continues to play them, and we 18 games, we're 18-1, and now they say, all right, he's ineligible. Now we got to fight it, and all your games are going to be done. So this great team that we had, this great season that we had, is down the drain.
Okay.
Now we don't make the tournament. Now we don't have a chance to win the national championship. They gave us what the punishment is: 12 games, sit them out. We're gonna go 10-1 or whatever, 11-1, win the national championship, and then we'll leave the rest to it. But it ain't nothing.
All right. T-King, thank you for being here.
No problem. I appreciate you guys.
R&R on Sports, only the best. We will be back on the other side of these messages for more R&R on Sports. Don't go away.
This is Dr. J. You're listening to a little R&R on Sports.
I love games, board games, comics, beautiful things that portray black girls as soft and whimsical and cotton candy flowers. And so that is what I bring to the show, as well as cuss words for these raggedy when they need them.
Oh my
Such
goodness.
as this raggedy that we getting ready to introduce you to right now.
Oh my
This red
goodness.
fox looking,
Oh.
this bald head, confident talking about Richard Douglas Jones.
My goodness, this is the best, worst intro I've ever had in my life, ladies and gentlemen. Black Nerd Power on the KUDZUKIAN Network.
Back as we get ready to get out of here. R&R on Sports. So it's time for us to say goodbye. And normally we do that within the framework of shout-outs. And so who you got? Who you got?
Okay, now seriously. I want to shout out a young man that has lived his childhood, a big portion of his childhood, in front of the media and didn't get to have a regular high school experience. And that's LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is balling down in Australia. So much so, he's almost put himself in position to be the #1 pick in the draft.
Ball is balling.
Ball is balling. And what I love about it is he's been able to do it without the constant media scrutiny and media attention. This kid has had to grow up with a camera in his face. And all of his silly, childish ways has been over magnified and everything. But the one thing they were missing in all of that is just how talented this young man is. And I've been watching a few of those videos of him over in Australia playing against other pro players, maybe not NBA players, but pro players. This kid is doing the thing. And I want to give a shout out to LaMelo Ball. I hope you keep playing, son. I hope you keep growing. And I look forward to seeing you in the NBA next year.
All right, I'm giving my shout out to a brother who is a former NFL star. His name is Warrick Dunn. Warrick Dunn has become a tremendous model, role model, yes, but model, period, for players by doing something that nobody else had done to that extent before, and that is creating housing, new homes, and improved homes for people in his area. I think he's up to
single
like
mothers, right? I think it's single moms. He's given away. He's given away over 170 homes.
Single moms, because his mom was a single mom, a police officer who got killed in the line of duty.
Yes,
and he has done this, and I think he might be up to almost 200. And there are people modeling themselves and their efforts after that. And I think we need much more of that from our athletes and former athletes in terms of that, who have made a whole lot of money and look to do more impactful things with it.
I want to say, to piggyback on that, I want to definitely add a shout out to Warrick Dunn, because he's been doing this for a while.
Has been.
He's not been really focused on the attention from the media, the way that giving should be done without the fanfare.
He had to be a man at a very, very young age, and he walked in and he rose to the occasion.
Absolutely.
So Shout outs to you, my brother. Work done. So with that, we're going to say goodbye for another week.
Peace.
We appreciate you being with us here on R&R on Sports, and ask that you please consider being back with us next week, because we're going to be here in the same place doing more awesome stuff.
Absolutely. And take care. Have a wonderful week, and have a great sports week.
We are out.
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.